Well, Tuesday is St. Patrick's Day. We do a lot of strange things on St. Patrick's Day. We paint ourselves green, we wear green hats, we go to parades. We hand over green microphones. We also drink green beer. Now, I personally hate green beer. I do. It doesn't taste right, doesn't look right, something like that. But my favorite beer does come in a green can. And this one was supposed to be for after service, but I met Dan Glenn on the stairs coming up from the Yeah. I'll quickly get home. Well, when Richard gave us the opportunity to come to the prayer chapels, he said, listen, we're going to let you guys come up with several ideas and run them by me, and then while I'm gone to Unity Village, you guys can work some stuff out, come up with a few things. So we came up with some good ideas. We looked at, like today is the 15th. Yeah, 15th. Ides of March, Julius Caesar, right? We thought about, let's see, what's some of the other ideas we came up? Easter time. You know, we're right in the middle of Lent. We thought, well, we could do a Lent piece going into Easter. I wouldn't really want to go with that one. Then we thought maybe March Madness. March Madness. Great, all the basketball fans out there. So, unfortunately, there are no songs in the songbook about basketball. Miss Ryan can usually come up with something sometime shortly. So St. Patrick's. That's an athlete. Saint, spiritual, really Roman Catholic. So, for those of you who have been around Unity for a while, you know, our Unity principles aren't necessarily the same as the Roman Catholics. And St. Patrick's not only Roman Catholic, he's Irish Catholic. In fact, he's the great-granddaddy of all Irish Catholics. So trying to make that comparison probably not going to work for us today. So what we came up with was maybe looking at the life of St. Patrick, his journey through two different methodologies. One would be something that the Fillmores, both Myrtle and Charles, left us, which would be called metaphysical Bible interpretation. Common symbols that are in the New and Old Testament are reinterpreted, not as we see them with our eyes, but as something else. Like going up a mountain would not necessarily be going up a mountain, but would be a change in consciousness from the Lord to higher. That's the first tool we'll use. Second, Joseph Campbell, The Power of Myth, came out in 1988. We will talk about St. Patrick's journey in terms of that also. So with that in mind, we're going to change the name of this talk from the Unity of St. Patrick to the Metaphysical Travels and Journeys of St. Patrick. If you would please pray with me briefly. As we come to Spirit, access that part of us that is divine, never-changing, and eternal. We calm ourselves and try to understand the life of a man who lived 1,000 years before us, that we too, through our common humanity and our common divinity, can have a like experience by examining his life and thereby gaining a better insight to our own divinity. And so it is. Amen. St. Patrick, that really wasn't his name to start off with. We'll just call him that, just to keep consistency throughout the talk. 16 years old! What did you have going on when you were 16 years old? Me, it was cars and girls in Spurgeon High School. Okay? Patrick ended up being a slave. Not the best way to spend your 16th birthday. I could think of other things I'd rather be than to be a slave. But if we take a look at that from a metaphysical standpoint, we can say that is Act 1, separation. Many of us are slaves throughout most of our lives. We just don't know it that we also have the key. We are slaves in our own consciousness. We came into this world, for better or for worse, with the concept of original sin. A lot of us came out of that, and I'm free to tell you, I'm a Southern Baptist background. I was born into a Southern Baptist family, and we are really big on original sin. However, doing a study for being a licensed UVD teacher and preparing for this talk, original sin was not something that's necessarily something that Jesus, our master teacher, taught. It was not. It came over 200 years A.D. by Irenaeus, the Bishop of Lyon, and then St. Augustine a couple hundred years after that. They melted that and formalized that. In Unity, we believe in original blessing. That's a lot nicer way to go through life than saying you are worm of the dust. But that's where Patrick started out. That's where he started out. He had a tough start. 16 years moving from the west to the east. Now also, please note that metaphysical Bible interpretation, that is the sign of going from a higher consciousness to a lower consciousness. From the west to the east. Like from the wise men we have seen in the east, the wise men from the east, we have seen their star, we have seen their star, and we move this way. Kind of going from west, from east to west, kind of going from East Cobb to West Cobb, which is closer to Alabama. You can go your own conclusions there. We also call that, while he was there, we also call that from the Joseph Campbell piece into descent. Into descent. If you're following, or you know the hero's journey from that direction. While Patrick was there, he had friction. He had problems, especially when you're a slave. In Unity, we look at that, it's called chemicalization. Is where an old belief comes up against a new idea. And a lot of time, I've seen people actually become